Tonight on Cronkite News, a bipartisan movement aimed at helping people transition from prison to the workforce. Plus, why Arizona Representative Yasmin Ansari joined 3 other House Democrats on a trip to El Salvador over the weekend.
Message to you sick people out there that they're hiding behind a keyboard in a burner account, you're cowards. You want to threaten someone, threaten me. Don't threaten my players.
And ASU baseball coach Willie Bloomquist speaking out after death threats made against players of his team. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Aiden Blank. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with news on a Maryland man who was deported to El Salvador. Arizona Representative Yasmin Ansari recently returned from a trip to the country in an effort to bring the man home. Caitlin Humphrey joins us now with more on Ansari's efforts. Caitlin?
After a Maryland man was deported to El Salvador without due process, it was sparking conversation and controversy. Today, 5 Democratic representatives returned from El Salvador where they were advocating for his safe return. Arizona Representative Yasmin Ansari held a press conference today right after stepping off the plane from El Salvador. Ansari was returning from a trip where she and other Democratic representatives called for the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Ansari and other legislators argue that his deportation was unconstitutional and unjustified, while the White House claims that he was part of the MS-13 gang, which his wife and lawyers say is false.
We don't have due process, we have nothing. Due process is what provides rights to Americans in this country. So I will continue to try to work with Republican colleagues about this because it is an issue that, to me, transcends partisan politics.
That the Trump administration bring Abrego Garcia home. According to the Washington Post, the Trump administration is engaging in diplomatic discussions regarding his return. In the newsroom, Caitlin Humphrey, Cronkite News.
To LA County in California, which has a population of over 9 million people. However, one specific area within this community struggles to afford high-quality health care. Cronkite News reporter Brendan Muth tells us how some health-based organizations are working to address this issue.
At a community dental clinic next to the John C. Fremont High School in South Los Angeles, local residents seek teeth cleaning services, highlighting the option of accessible dental and health care for the community.
They have mental health services here, which that can help for kids and adults, which my son is with Kedron already because he's neurodiversity. He has ADHD, so it helps people that have kids that are recognizing like autism and whatnot. It can help in this community.
With the nearest hospital in this South LA community over 15 minutes away by car, residents don't have the time to wait for assistance, especially for serious medical conditions. According to a 2024 study by the UCLA Center for Health Policy Research, South Los Angeles has the highest rate of preventable hospitalizations in Los Angeles County, 1.7 times higher than West LA. As of 2024, Los Angeles has one of the largest Muslim populations in the U.S. at around 500,000 people. Umma Health is a Muslim-founded community-based health clinic that serves several communities in South LA. The services they provide help individuals in need of medical assistance and look to catch early signs of serious medical illnesses.
I think the glucose checks are really vitally important. A lot of our patients in a lot of low-income communities do have historically have trouble with diabetes just because of the lack of access to fresh foods, and so making sure that their glucose levels are known to them and then being able to refer them to care if they do need that care.
According to the latest census, the average income for an individual in Los Angeles is less than $45,000 per year, with more than 13% of Angelenos in poverty. Community members of these underserved communities rely on the inclusion of these community health-based clinics that provide free health care and health services to those who struggle financially. From the inclusion of these health clinics, community members hope they can trust these medical professionals to get their questions answered and the help they need.
Whether our economic challenge as well as our national challenge, we want to give our residents access to that information and, more importantly, to the relationships so that they know where to go for important information and to get their needs met.
In Los Angeles, Brandon Muth, Cronkite News.
With a rise in community health clinics in South LA, Umma Health looks to build their first urgent care to further prevent the rise in preventable hospitalizations and bring the community closer. The deadline to get an Arizona travel ID is now just 2 weeks away. This new ID complies with the federal Real ID Act, and as of May 7th, you will need an Arizona travel ID or a passport to travel through a TSA security checkpoint. If not, you could be turned away, according to the Arizona Department of Transportation. More than 2.5 million Arizonans have already upgraded to the new ID. More than 1 million Arizonans have a criminal record. A new statewide initiative aims to help them re-enter the workforce and society. Emily Fox-Millian explains how Arizona is joining a national movement focused on second chances.
Reentry 2030 helps people leaving the prison system get the education, jobs, housing, and health care they need to rebuild their lives.
People have taken accountability, paid the price for their crimes, and put in the work to better themselves deserve a second chance and the opportunity to contribute to their families and our economy.
The initiative, launched in a press conference today, is funded through a combination of federal grants and support from nonprofits like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It's part of a bipartisan effort to improve outcomes for people with criminal records.
Recidivism costs states nationally $8 billion a year in reincarceration costs.
Governor Katie Hobbs says nearly 1 in 3 Arizonans have a criminal record, and that nearly 95% of formerly incarcerated individuals will eventually re-enter society. The hope is 2030 will provide more opportunities for successful reintegration.
It's a shift from punishment to preparation, meant to expand opportunity, strengthen community safety, and protect taxpayer dollars.
Company partners like Mod Pizza have already made hiring justice-involved individuals part of their business model. Todd Cook is a general manager in Tucson who's seen that the approach makes a difference.
You see it when you're in an interview and you tell someone, like, we don't look at your background, we're not worried about felonies, we want to know where you're at right now and where do you want to go, and you see them relax and become their authentic self.
State officials say the goal isn't just to provide resources, but to set clear benchmarks for reducing recidivism over the next 5 years and help more Arizonans stay out of prison for good. In Phoenix, Emily Fox-Millian, Cronkite News.
The Arizona Department of Corrections and Juvenile Corrections is leading this initiative. We want to make a correction on a story from earlier. Yasmin Ansari traveled to El Salvador with 3 other lawmakers, not 4. Well, the Valley has clear skies, warm days, and chilly nights ahead. Skylar Heisey joins us now from the Cronkite Weather Center with what we can expect. Skylar?
Let's take a look at the evening forecast for tonight. Today was a beautiful day in the 90s. Tonight it's going to get down to the 80s, 80 degrees by 10 p.m. It's going to be a beautiful night. Stars will be out, clear skies. Now let's take a look at the low temperatures for tomorrow. It's going to be pretty chilly up in the northern part of the state. The Grand Canyon, 29 degrees, Kingman, 53 degrees, Sedona, 51 degrees, and Phoenix at 64 degrees. Now let's take a look at those high temperatures for tomorrow. It's going to be pretty warm, especially in the southwestern region of the state. 90 degrees in Quartzsite, 91 degrees in Yuma, 92 degrees in Gila Bend, and 91 degrees in Phoenix. Now let's take a look at the 8-day forecast. It's going to be a beautiful rest of the week in the 90s, super pretty. Now as we get into the rest of the week and the weekend, it's going to dip down into the low 80s, high 70s. Lower than average temperatures, but don't worry, those temperatures will shoot right back up into the 90s by Tuesday. From the Cronkite Weather Center, I'm Skylar Heisey.
Coming up next, a local basketball league bringing the community together.
And to see family members all the way from grandfathers and grandmothers come here and cheer their grandkids on, or great-grandkids, or see the kids, that's exactly what this organization stands for.
We'll hit the court with members of the Chicano Basketball League when we return.
When I was younger, there were no engineers around me, so I had to become my own role model. At ASU, I wasn't just learning to be an engineer, I was actually engineering. And graduating, I already had real-world jobs lined up. Before ASU, my goal was to be a strong, confident woman. And when I left, I became a strong, confident engineer.
Innovation at the Walter Cronkite School is pushing the boundaries of traditional journalism.
Storytelling has evolved over the years. This is part of that evolution.
Students in the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Lab are using emerging technology to create scenes in augmented and virtual reality, coding playable games, and bringing the audience into the story.
They're only limited by their imagination and their willingness to learn.
Find out more at cronkite.asu.edu.
Welcome back to Cronkite News. I'm Genaro Garcia.
And I'm Max Williams with the Cronkite Sports Report.
We start with ASU baseball, where Coach Willie Bloomquist recently condemned social media threats made against his players and their family members. The threats come after the team lost their road series against Cincinnati and a game versus Purdue last week. ASU had only one win in 4 games, including back-to-back walk-off losses during their most recent road trip around the country. That's when the social media threats started, followed by Bloomquist quickly condemning the disturbing threats.
A message to you sick people out there that are hiding behind a keyboard in a burner account, you're cowards. You want to threaten someone, threaten me. Don't threaten my players. They're not pros. They're competing their butts off out there, and sometimes they're going to give it up. Sometimes we're going to go through a tough stretch. Does not give people the right to get on social media and threaten my players.
The Sun Devils have since returned home and taken 2 of 3 from Texas Tech and currently sit in 5th place in the Big 12 with a record of 11-7.
But some good news for Arizona Wildcats baseball as their star shortstop Mason White was named the Big 12 Co-Player of the Week. And the Cats cracked the top 20 in D1 baseball rankings. Now it's 16, up from 22 after winning 2 of 3 against the BYU Cougars over the weekend. They play tonight at High Corbett, hosting the UT Arlington Mavericks in a non-conference game, with the first pitch scheduled for 6 p.m.
And despite dropping the first 2 games, the D-backs finished off their road series on a good note, winning their last game against the Chicago Cubs on Sunday. Josh Naylor led the Snakes to scrape by the series with a win on the final game, driving in 2 runs, including a double to bring in the go-ahead run in the top of the 11th to take down the Cubs. 3-2 in 11 innings. The D-backs are back at home and starting their homestand as we take a look at the schedule with their game tonight against the Rays starting at 6:40 p.m., followed by a post-game fireworks show after the game.
We now move over to the hardwood now for an empowering story where the Chicano Basketball League recently held its 2nd annual basketball showcase for Latino youth. Cronkite News reporter Paisley Poole had the chance to discover why this event is called the best-kept secret.
At Canyon View High School in Waddell, teams from Arizona and even a few from California showed out to play in the Chicano Basketball League's annual showcase. Players wore colorful uniforms with cultural references in the designs, created by co-founder and event leader Joe Leone.
And to see family members all the way from grandfathers and grandmothers come here and cheer their grandkids on, or great-grandkids, or see the kids. That's exactly what this organization stands for.
The event also consisted of food trucks, wrestling in the courtyard, and a showcase of low-riding vehicles. But most importantly, family time.
To give back to the communities, to be a testimony, to be a leader in my community, to be a father figure to my kids, to my wife, and everything else. But more than anything is to give back and show the love that we never grew up having.
Basketball brings the community together along with the Mexican food and wrestling rink beside me here. But under the surface, the main focus of the Chicano Basketball League is to highlight and empower Hispanic athletes who may be overlooked.
Stay positive and stay straight and go to school and listen to your parents. And that's what CBI was doing, and that's what CBI taught us.
Hoops, heritage, and community is what the Chicano Basketball League is all about, but the event itself is not the best kept secret, for it is the young athletes who may not have a chance otherwise to receive the recognition they deserve. In Waddell, Paisley Pool, Cronkite News.
Coming up next, ASU football is nearing the end of their spring practice this week, and a lot of young guys are looking to make a name for themselves.
Yeah, that's right, Henaro. Kenny Dillingham said that they need some of the young guys to step up this season. We'll take a look after the break.
My family is family, so it's a great bond with me and Kaisa for sure.
Find out more about their bond and how they help each other on and off the field.
I grew up in a small border town, and water was really important to us. Without enough water, we can't farm, we can't eat, we can't live. And the way we're doing it right now, straight up doesn't have a future. I went to ASU because this is a place where you solve problems. With vertical farming, we can grow the same amount of food with 95% less water than traditional farming. The work I'm doing at ASU is changing the way I look at the world.
The scientists and engineers that support the next mission to Mars could be in this class.
Getting a degree at ASU is a journey that can take you anywhere. Into a world of groundbreaking technology and renowned award-winning faculty. Professors who help you to impact the world. Whether you're on campus or at home, becoming your best starts with learning from the best.
When I was younger, there were no engineers around me, so I had to become my own role model. At ASU, I wasn't just learning to be an engineer, I was actually engineering. And graduating, I already had real-world jobs lined up. Before ASU, my goal was to be a strong, confident woman. And when I left, I became a strong, confident engineer.
The NFL draft is just a little over 48 hours away from kicking off in Green Bay, and there are so many storylines involving this year's class, including what's going on here inside State 48. Max Zepeda and Daniel Rios join us from the touchscreen to break down some of the local draft prospects.
A lot of local storylines in this year's NFL draft, from the Cardinals to ASU's Camp Scadaboo. And with that in mind, it's only fitting that we bring in our Cronkite News draft expert who went to the NFL Combine last month in Indianapolis, our own Daniel Rios. And Daniel, obviously we have to start with pick number 16, belonging to the Cardinals. Monty Ossenfort, you believe, should be targeting one side of the ball in particular.
Yeah, defensive side of the ball wasn't good last year. 4.6 yards a carry. Definitely need a lot more talent there. And thankfully in this draft, there's a lot of talent in round one. Derek Harmon out of Oregon led the FBS in pressures last season. Definitely will be a force in the middle. Jihad Campbell can rush the passer off the edge. Off-ball linebacker, can play in the pass coverage. I mean, Jonathan Gannon's going to love this guy if he, comes into the desert. And then Jahade Barron, most physical corner in this class, I think can definitely come in day one and make an impact.
And hey, guys, at all three levels of that defense as well, where they could possibly make improvements. But we all know the most important position in the sport is, of course, quarterback. Tyler Shuck, who, if you don't know, is a Chandler native, Hamilton High School alum, 7 years in college, just came out of Louisville. You believe he's the most NFL-ready quarterback in this class?
Yeah, most NFL ready. 3 schools in 7 years, like you said. I mean, he's gone through 3 straight years of injuries. He's faced adversity. He went to Louisville because he wanted to play, under center. Things you don't see that, these college prospects do in college. And he has elite arm strength, accurate, can stand tall in the pocket. And I think, whichever NFL team, takes him on day 2 likely will get, someone who can really come in and make an impact. 26 by the time NFL season starts next year. That's his biggest knock, so definitely we'll have to see where he goes.
You certainly saw that in that clip from the game against SMU earlier this season. Cam Scadaboo's obviously a pertinent storyline amongst a lot of people in the Valley. Some Cardinals fans might want him to stay home, but you believe at least late in day 2 is probably where he's going to go and probably not stay in the Valley.
Yeah, not stay in the Valley. I don't think the Cardinals really need a guy like Scadaboo. Definitely is possible, though, but definitely late day 2. I think late round 3 is probably his range, and he'll definitely make an impact and make any NFL GM happy.
Now, certainly, obviously, Valley fans would maybe want to disagree with you, but we'll see, obviously, where that goes come Friday. But this is your mock draft, at least when it comes to day 1. It's a lot to take in. You might want to pause and take a screenshot of this so you can at least get an idea of what it's going to be like on Thursday night. But at least at the top, probably not necessarily a surprise of where we're going here.
Yeah, Cam Ward, Titans need a quarterback. Will Levis hasn't worked out. It's kind of written on the wall at this point. T-Mac going to the Cowboys. I think he complements Dak Prescott really well, and I think CeeDee Lamb will be definitely happy to line up across from him in that offense. And then John Campbell. I mean, athletic freak, can run around the field everywhere. I mean, I think Jonathan Gannon's going to love this guy if they end up going that route.
Absolutely. And one big storyline you have Shedeur Sanders going 21 to Pittsburgh. Probably a falling stock in many people's eyes. What do you see? Yeah,
definitely could go number 9 to New Orleans, but I think Mike Tomlin, I think he falls, and Mike Tomlin is reports that he loves him, definitely will fit in Pittsburgh and, that culture up there.
Well, certainly we'll see how much of this mock draft lines up. Every team has a pick around that first round on Thursday night, so we'll at least have to see if things line up that way on 5 p.m. Arizona time when the draft officially kicks off. But for Daniel Rios, I'm Max Cepeda. We'll send it back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, guys. Speaking of NFL draft storylines, another local product looking to hear his name called in this week's draft is former Brophy Prep standout Ben Morrison. To prep, Morrison hosted a private workout at Brophy on Tuesday. He was trying to impress the 25 NFL team scouts in attendance as he battles back from a hip injury. Morrison played his college ball at Notre Dame and suffered that injury in October, missing the back half of the season. This was the cornerback's first chance to showcase to the scouts that he's healthy once again. Morrison was a standout in his 3 years for the Fighting Irish, where the corner racked up 9 interceptions.
Just that I am that guy. I mean, the biggest thing was I was trying to prove I was healthy. I was trying to prove I isolated myself as one of the top corners in the draft, if not the best. So that was the biggest thing.
He's an athletic kid. He's very, very detailed, and he is a playmaker. He makes plays. That's what I love. And they have this thing at Notre Dame. They say, bring the ball back. And he's a guy who's going to get the ball and bring it back.
ASU football wraps up spring practice this week as they have one more session tomorrow before their Spring Fan Fest this Friday.
Yeah, that's right, Henaro. And head coach Kenny Dillingham will be relying on some young help from players to fill a few voids in the roster. We introduced you to 2 sophomores who were childhood friends and now teammates excelling on and off the field.
I'm Keith Davin II, cornerback here at ASU. I'm a sophomore going into my junior year next year, and I'm majoring in sports business management.
Kyson Brown, 3rd year running back. My major is architectural studies, and we've been knowing each other since we was little league, and we go through so much together.
His family, my family, his family. So it's a great bond with me and Kyson for sure.
We make each other better. We hold each other accountable, and that's the type of bond you want to have with a guy like him. And when I came here on a visit to ASU, they sold me on the Bear Honors program, and my parents and we decided that's something that I really wanted to do. I just wanted to challenge myself.
I've always took in honors classes in high school and middle school growing up, so it was just, why not continue to do that and build those, you get to meet a lot of unique people during the Bear class. You get a lot of connections, and then you also get your honors credit.
ASU is a very diverse school, and I've met so many people from different places, and I think it's grown my cultural awareness.
That's stuff you talk about as kids, we're gonna go to the same college, and it's crazy. You dreams to reality almost, seeing that this is our reality.
It's just been a great experience for me these past couple of years. I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't do anything different.
Living in Arizona, roommates, good weather, good coaches, good team, good vibes. It's amazing. It's a blessing for sure.
Coming up next, if you were thinking of climbing Mount Everest this season, new technology could make that climb a little bit easier. Drones are being used for some important tasks this season. Find out why after the break.
People have always had trouble trying to put me into a box. A professor, suit and tie is just not me. Without the ocean, I don't know what I would do. You know, the ocean's always been there for me. As Hawaiian people, we believe that the coral is the first living being to come out of the darkness. It's the foundation of our entire lifestyle, and that's what my research is about. What we do is we take photographs of the reef over long periods of time to create models that can tell us what the planet is doing. If we go deaf to what the Earth is telling us, then we'll never be able to live in harmony. If I can get my students excited about protecting the ocean, then they're the ones who are gonna really make the difference. I hope my students realize that I'm not trying to prepare them for something in the distant future. Their time is now at Arizona State University.
Welcome back. A startup drone company is trying to make the dangerous climb of Mount Everest a little bit easier. Nepali company Airlift Technology is currently testing a drone delivery system that transports necessary supplies to base camp. The drone can also take trash from the mountain back down. The best part, the trip would take a skilled Sherpa 6 to 7 hours, but these drones can do it in 6 to 7 minutes. The drones will help Sherpas carry equipment to the camps before the climbing season begins and will take the trash back down once the season starts. That's it for tonight's edition of Cronkite News. I'm Aiden Blank. Thanks for joining us. And to see top Arizona stories anytime, log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.